got a really fun show for you today, Who Dat Nation. We're going to go through a mock draft that was done by the Golden Gang. And if you don't know what the Golden Gang is, well, that's our group of subscribers here at Saints Now by Chat Sports. I'm going to react to all 7 rounds of picks that were made by our subscribers during our mock draft live show special that tuned in yesterday. And if you weren't a part of that, I don't know what to tell you. You missed out on a lot of fun. But if you want to join the Golden Gang, well, we have a lot of reasons for you to subscribe. But the biggest one of all, we're going to be live all 3 days of the 2025 NFL Draft. So I hope you guys tune in. I hope you guys join the fun because we're going to be doing a lot of fun giveaways, audience interaction, and a lot of really fun content by fans, for fans, and it's all going to be from a Saints perspective. So please sure to subscribe, tune in to our live draft coverage, subscribe for daily Saints videos. And without further ado, let's dive into the fan-led mock draft. The Who Dat Nation, first round, 9th overall selection. We decided to go with Tyler Warren, the tight end out of Penn State. And I got to say, I'm a pretty big fan of this pick. And whenever we were voting on it, Shedeur Sanders was on the board, but we decided to roll with the very, very, very interesting prospect. He's an extremely fun prospect. And I will say this, it's nice to see a player who has some shades of Jason Witten and Greg Olsen, but he's also just an overall offensive weapon. And a big theme for me that I've had here at Saints Now is we have to raise the overall talent level. And this is a player that I'm absolutely in love with. I've heard a lot of good things about his character and the football IQ. The guy has every ounce of dog in him. In fact, they nicknamed him Psycho T at Penn State. He turns 23 in May. He's a very, very special athlete, really nice after-catch ability. He has the versatility not just to be a pass catcher, but also to run the football as well. He was extremely productive. I'm very, very excited about this pick, and I think that Kellen Moore could really unlock a new part of an offense with a player like Tyler Warren. And honestly, whoever the quarterback is, whether it's Rattler, Carr, Shedeur, I don't really care who it is. Whoever is at the quarterback position is going to benefit from this selection. Now, Dane Brugler of The Athletic has some really nice words to say about Tyler Warren as well, saying he still has developing to do as a route runner and a blocker, but he is an agile-footed big man who naturally tracks the football and with dependable hands and a hunger to create after the catch. He projects as a rookie NFL starter with traditional qualities, as well as the schematic versatility to be a multi-tool weapon. And look, I don't really care that the Saints signed Juwan Johnson to a 3-year, $30 million contract. We saw what Kellen Moore said about the ability to draft important positions and drafting the best player available. In fact, he even said that he doesn't mind if you have 2 premier tight ends. He doesn't mind if you have multiple weapons that are very versatile. He doesn't care. You want to put the best players on the field. You want to see your team succeed. And to be totally honest, I would love the selection of Tyler Warren. I think he would be an excellent addition to the Saints offense. And we didn't stop at offense. The Golden Gang selected Jayden Higgins in round 2, the Iowa State wide receiver. And look, I do think that double dipping on offense is a pretty nice strategy to go with, especially for a team that was really, really bad offensively last year. Jayden Higgins is an exciting player, and I think he exactly fits the size profile of what the New Orleans Saints are missing at the wide receiver position. 6'4", 215 pounds. He was very effective for Iowa State last year. Over 1,100 yards, 13.6 yards per catch, 9 touchdowns. And in 2023, he averaged over 18 yards per catch. He did have 2 years at Eastern Kentucky before he made the move up to Iowa State, and I could see him being utilized as a big-bodied slot wide receiver. And honestly, I would love to see him be utilized in a similar role as Michael Thomas, operate over the middle, be the big-bodied, physical guy who can make those contested catches. And he did get a lot of reps at the power slot position, about 29%. Over the last 2 years, I should say. And he got better each year. He has really, really good hands. Only 3 drops over the last 2 seasons. And he tested overall pretty well with a 9.63 relative athletic score. Here's what Dane Brugler had to say about the Iowa State product. Higgins is an ascending height, weight, speed athlete with the physicality and catch radius to be productive in the NFL as a starter. He continues developing his route and release precision. His game is similar to what Nico Collins put on tape at Michigan. And look, the Saints have a need at wide receiver. And I think they have a need at a specific type of wide receiver. And that's a big-bodied, physical guy who can be an X receiver operating over the middle. And I think that only is a good thing. I think it benefits Chris Olave. I think it benefits Rashid Shaheed. I think it benefits the quarterback. I think it benefits everybody to get a player that has a size profile similar to Jaden Higgins. Whether it's Tate McMillan, Sai'vion Williams, Jack Besh, Trey Harris, I don't care. You got to go and get one of these guys. So Who Dat Nation, good selection here. Now, if you want the New Orleans Saints to have a 2017 type draft, I need you to hit the thumbs up icon and like this video. We got to get some good juju. Too many bad drafts in the past few years. We got to have an absolute killer one this year. So if you want to see the Saints crush this NFL draft, you want to see Kellen Moore absolutely nail it in his first draft as a Saints head coach, don't jinx it. Like the video. In round 3, we finally get to the defensive side of the football. In the comment section, they were all in on Dorian Strong, the cornerback out of Virginia Tech. And look, he's 6'1", 185 pounds. In 2024, he had 32 tackles, 8 pass breakups, 1 forced fumble. He allowed 408 yards, 1 touchdown. He did have 3 flags last year. He's 23 years old. He's mostly an outside cornerback. We have a 4th-round grade on him. However, in 7 interceptions and 28 career pass breakups, that's really, really nice. 408 special team snaps as well, and he has a lot of experience. And he's typically a really good tackler, 2 missed tackles this year. And he's pretty smooth in coverage. He's good and really solid when he's jamming guys at the line. He has a good feel in coverage. And at the end of the day, he's not a great block shedder, and he does seem to be a little stiff at times, but I do think with good coaching, he's a player that could be really good and fit a good need for the New Orleans Saints at the cornerback position opposite of Kool-Aid McKinstry. Now, Dorian Strong doesn't have ideal foot speed or twitch. This is what Dane Brugler had to say. For what some NFL teams desire. But he is a quick, instinctive player with the competitive profile other teams will highly value. He projects as a rookie reserve. And I'm okay with using that kind of selection on a cornerback like Dorian Strong. You obviously signed Isaac Yiadom in free agency. You have Kool-Aid McKinstry opposite of him. Rico Payton has been a nice developmental piece. And I do believe if you have a player like Dorian Strong, I trust Isaac Yiadom to be a starter at least for the first few weeks. And then we can throw Dorian Strong in there and wait until he's ready. And, we'll see how the defense shakes out. I'm excited to see how Brandon Staley attacks the defense and how he schemes things up and what the personnel looks like. This is going to be a new look defense, and maybe Dorian Strong could be a good addition to that squad. Going back to offense, we're going to add to the trenches now. One of my favorite players, at least as an offensive line draft prospect, Tate Ratledge, the offensive guard out of Georgia. And look, I do believe the Saints have a need at the interior offensive line. I really like Taliese Fuaga. I think Trevor Penning has done a fine job developing last year, but now you get him better coaching, and now you get him a better offensive coach, and now you get him a better O-line coach. Let's see him continue to develop. He's continued that growth, and he's gone in a good direction. And Kellen Moore even said he likes the tackles. So let's attack the interior offensive line first. Now, let's talk about Tate Ratledge. He has some good hands and a lot of power, along with really strong awareness. He's a 3-year starter. He was a solid athlete, tested insanely well, a 9.96 relative athletic score. The guy has an absolute, motor, and he has that dog in him. He even self-describes himself as a dirtbag, which is hilarious. The leadership qualities are there, and I do think that this is a player who was relatively productive against some of the top competition in all of college football. At Georgia, he only allowed 1 sack last year in 500 snaps. You see the overall PFF grades, the pass blocking grade, the run blocking grade. I think those are solid considering the competition and considering the level of the players he had to match up against. I like this addition. I think that this is a player that can make a good impact for the New Orleans Saints offense. And at the end of the day, I want to see the offensive line get a little bit of a facelift. Nick Saldiveri, I don't dislike him as a player, but he isn't exactly what I'm wanting, and I don't necessarily trust him as much as a starter. Maybe as a nice, versatile backup, but if you have Tate Ratledge in there, I'd feel a lot more comfortable about the interior offensive line specifically because I love Eric McCoy. Cesar Ruiz is a little frustrating at times, but, if you could put Tate Ratledge in there, I think that really, really makes a difference at the end of the day. And I'm also going to say this. I think that the offensive line just needs to be better. Just whoever the quarterback is, they just need to protect him better. They need to give him a chance to throw the football. They need to give him a chance to make a difference. But, hey, we'll see what happens with Tate Ratledge. Hopefully he's the pick. Also, the mullet, the mustache. Where's number 69? How could you not want him as an offensive lineman? And we're going to continue this fan-led mock draft here in just 1 second. But first, we got to tell you about today's presenting sponsor, and that is Game Time, the best ticketing app in the whole wide world. And that right there, ladies and gentlemen, is a fact. Watching sports with friends is always a blast, but nothing matches the hype of actually being in attendance. So don't miss out on any big moments across sports with the Game Time app. Game Time specializes in last-minute deals. You can save up to 60% when buying last-minute tickets for sports, concert, comedy, theater, and more. You also can check out the super deals. These are the tickets that are highlighted for being the best value for events in your area. Whether you want to go to Jazz Fest, whether you want to go check out a Saints game this year, or LSU baseball, they're in full swing. We have tickets available for you on the Game Time app. And it's not just limited to the Gulf Coast region either. You can go get tickets anywhere across the country with the Game Time app. They also feature all-in pricing, seat views, the lowest price guarantee, and the Game Time ticket coverage, which means your purchase is covered with the most flexible customer service policy in the ticketing industry. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and redeem code CHATSPORTS for $20 off your first purchase. Terms do apply, but once again, that's code CHATSPORTS when you download the Game Time app to get $20 off your first purchase. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. All of that information is in the comments and description of this video. Now let's keep this thing rocking and rolling. The Golden Gang selected Jaydon Blue with the first of our 2 4-round selections, and I have to say I like this player a lot. He did have a lighter workload and a lighter career production, and he did just turn 21 in January, so he's a young player, and I do think that he offers a lot of juice as a change of pace back, and I do think that he is a little bit versatile. Our draft expert here, Tom Downey, has a Naheem Hines comp for him. And he did skip his senior year in football in high school to prepare for college, which is definitely interesting. He's an explosive and fast player, a 4.38 40-yard dash. Wasn't as fast as hoped, and he didn't do any agility testing, but he had a really impressive broad jump. He's a gifted athlete, and he offers slashing and cutting ability. And he's not the type of player that'll break tackles. He'll just beat you with speed. Not much of a tackle breaker, and I will say this, when it comes to the receiving ability, 42 receptions, 368 yards, over 8 yards a catch, almost 9 actually, and 6 touchdowns through the air. So he does offer some receiving ability as well. Here's what Dane Brugler said about Dorian Armstrong. Dorian Armstrong, excuse me. I meant to say Jaydon Blue. I'm such a fool. Whenever we talk about Jaydon Blue, we're going to break it down what Dane Brugler said in a second, but just more about him. He holds on to the turbo a little too long, but, I do think that he's a player. If you get him in open space, it can be useful. And obviously, I think the Saints have a need at running back. Alvin Kamara isn't getting any younger, although I do not think he's washed. You do not know what the future is with Kendre Miller, and Jamal Williams was cut. You have CEH, but we'll see what happens there. Now, Dane Brugler said this about Jaydon Blue. He is a threat to make a house call at any point, especially as a receiving weapon out of the backfield, but NFL scouts say he may need time to learn what it takes to be a professional. His dynamic talent can be an upgrade in the backfield. So again, I think this is a safe pick, and I think it's a smart pick because, honestly, it feels like you could replicate Alvin Kamara with Jaydon Blue just in a year or two. And you can have him learn about Alvin Kamara, and you can have him sit behind Alvin Kamara, and you can have him compete with Kendre Miller for snaps, and you can utilize his skill set in years to come, and you can utilize Alvin Kamara's leadership ability and allow him to try and pave the way and mold and form this player into be a better running back. I like this selection. Not a lot of great running backs were on the board at this pick, so Golden Gang, I like this one. They also did not stop. I really like this one. Sai'vion Jones, the edge rusher out of LSU, our second, 4th-round pick, a number 131 overall. Look, I do think the Saints need to prioritize getting better at the edge rusher position at the defensive line as a whole. You obviously brought back Chase Young, and I'm really, really excited to see him in Brandon Staley's scheme and work with Bo Davis. I'm excited to see the change in the scheme as a whole, and I do think Sai'vion Jones is a player who was relatively productive last year for LSU. He's mostly an edge rusher with some 3-tech ability. He turns 22 in June, and I will also say this. There was a massive jump in pass rush production and the pressures and from last year to this past season. He's better. He has a lot better bend than you would expect considering his size. The motor runs very, very hot. He doesn't have a lot of flashy pass rush moves, but he has a very impressive relative athletic score at 9.2. The sack production wasn't necessarily there. However, he is a player that I think with some good coaching, with some good development, can be a good player. And we do know Cam Jordan's also not getting any younger either. Like, you got to add some juice to the pass rush. The Saints were not good at getting to the quarterback. They got a lot of pressures, but I don't want pressures. I want freaking production. I want sacks. I want to see our players take the quarterback to the ground, and I want to see our defense absolutely feast. So we're going to talk about quarterback because we haven't taken one yet. Should the Saints even draft one this year? I mean, they got Spencer Rattler. Maybe you go and figure it out with Derek Carr. I don't know. What do you think? Should they even try to draft a quarterback? I want to hear from you guys in the comment section. Alrighty, just a few more picks to go. We got in round 6, no 5th round pick, by the way. You traded that one away for what it's worth. In round 6, 184 overall, the Golden Gang selected Ty Robinson, the defensive tackle out of Nebraska. And I'll tell you what, something about those corn-fed Big 12 defensive linemen makes me feel some type of way, and I think that this could be a really good addition to the New Orleans Saints defense. 6'5", 288 pounds. Last season, 13 games played for the Cornhuskers, 37 tackles, 12.5 tackles for loss, 7 sacks, a forced fumble, 42 pressures. That's an 11.8 pressure rate. He's a thick frame with burst off the line and a strong anchor. He's a power rusher with aggressive counters, and he's an eye for batting the ball. Tight player. He struggles with contact balance, and he needs a better pass rusher plan. He has a little bit of a tweener action to him, but he tested really, really well, and he's a great athlete. A 9.89 relative athletic score, 4.83 40, a 33.5-inch vertical, 9.11 broad jump, and a 4.5 shuttle, all really, really good scores. He had an 8.18 relative athletic score as a defensive end as well. Look, I like this guy. I like this prospect. And in the 6th round, bring some defensive juice back to the line and give Brian Brzee another player. Give Devon Godshaw another guy. Like, I don't think this is a true nose tackle, but this is a player who I think as a defensive tackle and a defensive interior guy would be an excellent addition and add some more juice and just add some more depth to that position. Round 7, we got 2 picks here. Jordan Hancock, the safety out of Ohio State. I got to say here, this one was interesting. Considering he was on the board in the 7th round was definitely weird. That all being said, I do think the Saints need to address the defensive back position. I do think the Saints also need to focus on adding talent because you got to have some more guys behind Justin Reed. He's on a multi-year contract. Tyrann Mathieu, I don't know how much longer he's got. And I do think that Jordan Howden has something there, but we got to see guys be challenged. And we got to see guys make plays. We got to see guys make efforts. So we'll see what happens with Jordan Hancock. I don't hate this selection. I don't love this selection, but at the end of the day, I do think you need to leave with the safety, and I think that that's all you got to really focus on. Again, Jordan Howden, you got Justin Reed, you got Tyrann Mathieu, you got JT Gray, but we'll have to see what happens. And we're just going to kind of get to the last pick here. Again, Jordan Hancock, I don't hate it. I don't love it. We'll see what happens here. But I want to focus on the last pick, and that's a pick, Moose, that I personally am a big, big fan of. And if you know anything about me, if you tune into Saints Now by Chat Sports, you would know this. I'm a graduate of the University of Arkansas, the best college in the whole wide world. And the Golden Gang, they were on my side here. And in round 7, the last pick of the draft, they went and got their CeeDee Lamb. Great value CeeDee Lamb, which I don't know a lot of people know this. Walmart headquartered in Arkansas, 30 minutes down the road from University of Arkansas. We got the Walmart version of CeeDee Lamb. Andrew Armstrong. Guys, I cannot believe there's not a lot more hype around this player. He led the SEC in receiving yards last year. And this is a guy for Taylon Green. He was so damn reliable. And he was a really, really good football player, mostly an outside wide receiver. And I just think he's tremendously undervalued. 4 drops this past season, 2 in the year prior. He had 18 of 29 on contested catches. That's a 62.1%. That's really, really impressive. 16 forced missed tackles is pretty solid. And I also think that this is a player, although he didn't have the touchdown percentage or the touchdown production, that shouldn't stop you from falling in love with this player. He's a really good athlete. He needs to, maximize more on the field, and he needs to find more ways to get open. But I'm in love with this prospect, and I'm also an Arkansas Razorback, so of course I'm going to like this pick. All in all, I think this is a really good selection, especially as a 7th-round pick. It's sneaky. It's another wide receiver that can be really, really useful. 6'3", 204 pounds. He would be one of the taller players in the wide receiver group, believe it or not. And look, I don't think that you can ever ask for to have too few high-level wide receivers. I'm not going to say this guy is going to go and be a 1,000-yard player, but get 600 yards out of the guy. I mean, shoot, that's pretty nice. I mean, look, let's go back and review the Golden Gang mock draft here. You got Tyler Warren, Jaden Higgins, Andrew Armstrong, and Jaydon Blue, all as offensive weapons. You added an offensive lineman in Tate Ratledge. You got some juice in the pass rush department in Sai'vion Jones and Ty Robinson. Maybe not the pass rush, but in the defensive line. You also added Jordan Hancock as a defensive back. And I think that overall, the Golden Gang crushed this mock draft. I would grade this one an A. Like, maybe I didn't love the Jordan Hancock pick, but considering what was available at the board, why not? 7th round. No such thing as a bad 7th round pick, right, Moose? There's no such thing. Saints fans, I really hope you guys enjoyed today's content. We had a lot of fun filming it. I hope you guys tune into the live content all next week. It's going to be an absolute blast. Y'all stay golden, and we'll see you next time.